If you have any questions, please use the raise hand function. First question goes over to Rhea Turner.
Hi, Patrick. What does it mean to you being back in the college football playoffs?
It means a lot to come back here and, reach our destination, and just keep on building the standard here.
And we'll go over to Ralph Russo.
Hey, Patrick, thanks for doing this. And wondering what you may have missed this season away from football with all the protocols and things that needed to be restricted because of COVID, miss friends, miss family, anything in particular that you missed that you would normally have gotten out of a season?
Miss the fans, with college football without fans. But we had some fans in the stadium, but it's still not the same atmosphere. That's what I probably missed.
Dennis Freeman with the next question.
Hey, Patrick. What exactly is the iceberg, and how do you get yourself mentally prepared to meet that challenge?
The iceberg is definitely is something where you got your ice cold in your veins, you're ice blooded, and when you're on the island, you make opponents feel your iceberg.
Over to Holly Rowe.
Hey, Patrick, I was just curious about, Coach Saban has such a great reputation for teaching guys in the secondary. Could you give me a couple of key technique things that he's taught you and that he's harping on about that you've gotten better at?
He's very technique fundamental in the press coverage, especially. He's very hands-on about using your hands on the line, being comfortable with your technique, and also being physical at the point of attack. He also harps about that as well.
Lucas Weiss with the next question.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yep, you're good.
Hi, Patrick. I know that John Meshie's on the other side, but what does he bring to the team on and off the field?
He brings a lot of talent on the field, of course, but he's also a very hard-working guy. After practice, he gets on the jugs, works on his routes, do whatever it needs to take for him to be great. And you see that on the field from him each and every week. So he can only keep improving and getting better.
Over to Michael Casagrande.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Those practices, those days after the Ole Miss game, what do you guys learn the most from that game, and how did Coach Scolding, how did he lead you guys through that?
It humbled us a lot. We learned that we must be on the same page, and we learned that game, we should learn from that game, learn from our mistakes, learn from things that we didn't do good on. And, throughout the course of the season, we gotten better, and we improved on those certain things, on those fundamental techniques, even communicating, defensive play calls, and just flying around to the ball. And as a whole unit, we put our heads high and just kept on working.
Austin Hugh, you're up.
Yeah, Patrick, just wondering what you've seen from Notre Dame on tape, and specifically what Ian Book might do that might give you guys some problems.
It all starts with the O-line. They got a good front of the O-line. They're very physical. They're very oriented. They got a great quarterback. He makes plays for them, and they got great perimeter players. And they're a very well-balanced offense.
Mike Rodak, go ahead.
Yeah, Pat, with some of the modern tight ends playing a lot more outside, Pitts being one of them, just how much time do you spend each week preparing for tight ends relative to wide receivers as a cornerback?
Tight ends, I believe this week, tight ends are very physical. They're good pass catchers as well, but they also are very key to their success in their run game. So they're very balanced, and you just got to look for that as a corner, their tendencies and what they like to do.
Christopher Heidel, go ahead.
Hey, Patrick, thanks for taking my question. Let's talk about the Notre Dame running game and also their wide receivers. How good are they? Because if you can't catch up to them, they can just take off and get some good. They can just explode.
They got a great running game. They're very balanced, as I should say. They also one cut, quick to the line guys. You also got to tackle them, rally to them because they're very physical. Their receivers, they're great at the point of attack. They use their body well to gain advantage on corners and how to point the ball, which helps their quarterback a lot.
Edwin Stanton with the next question.
Hey, Patrick. Hope you had a good Christmas holiday. Just curious, there's a lot of reasons for recruits to come to Alabama, championship level program, but playing for Nick Saban, who develops guys to the NFL. What was the one key factor for you to come to Alabama?
Just to get developed and become the best version of myself each and every day. We work hard here, but also off the field. You learn a lot from this program, which helps you in life and succeed in life.
These will be the final two. Over to Dennis Dodd. Dennis, go ahead.
You got me? Okay. Patrick, Pro Football Focus named you the best press corner in the country. I wonder what that meant to you, and how hard is that to train that way, to get that way, when you know that, one mistake and a guy can be past you?
I very thankful for that mention and for that honor, but, it all starts with the work in the off season. The work you put in leading up to the season, that's what helps you get those accolades. But, those accolades come from team success as well. So, just thankful for the team and the coaches for helping me prepare and be the best player I could be.
Final question for Pat. We'll go over to Steve Moulton.
Hey, Pat, appreciate the time. To that point, if you could speak to, you mentioned the offseason and no spring, and now really have gone through this gauntlet since July. How different has it been on your body, and how differently have you had to take this with no spring?
It's a very different process. Leading to the season, there's so much uncertainty, but you just gotta understand that you just gotta work hard and keep understanding your goals for the season. And as I mentioned before, you gotta work even harder in the off season for seasons like this.
Thank you, Pat. That's all the time we have for questions for Pat. We're going to go ahead and bring up Fedarian Mathis next. We'll do same as we did with Patrick Surtain. This is Fedarian Mathis. If you have any questions, please use the raise hand function. And Tony Sakalis will open us up. Tony, go ahead.
Yeah, Phil, what's it like going against Chris Owens, and what does he offer at the center position?
Chris Owens, he's a great guy. I'm happy to see him step up after Landon being down, and can't wait to see what he's go out and do this week. He does a lot for the D lineman, give us a great look in the run game, also in the passing game, and he's just been great all around. This year around, and I'm just glad to see him step up and take on this big challenge.
Aaron Suttles with the second question.
When you look back at your recruiting class, that class of 2017, when you signed, did you realize how much talent was in that class?
No, sir. Not until, of course, after we won a national championship my freshman year, and when I looked around. We did have a lot of great guys in that class, and it's starting to show a lot right now.
Is there a mask up there?
No.
Nick Hamilton, go ahead.
Hey, good morning. Just wanted to get your thoughts on what it means to be back in, playing the college football playoff as far as the school and the program and playing in the Rose Bowl game itself.
I feel like it's a great opportunity for our team. Man, we came a long way. It's been not a long time, but it's been a minute for us. And I'm just happy to see us in this position to play for a national title. So I just hope we can just keep grinding it out, keep playing together as a team, and making something big happen.
Ralph Russo, over to you.
Hey, Fedarian. Away from the field with all the restrictions and protocols in place, what did you miss? Was it stressful at all? Were there things in particular like that you really had to change your life that were difficult, or maybe more difficult than others?
I mean, I looked at it like it was a challenge for our team, and I feel like as a team, we took on that challenge. We handled it well with the Zoom calls all over the summer. Everybody working out on their own, sending their videos in, sending weight in, just taking on the challenge. And I think we did that very well throughout the summer, throughout the spring, and now it's showing that we didn't play around. And we really worked our butts off, and we didn't back down from the challenge.
Chris Hummer with the next question.
Hey, you were one of the last to commit as part of that 2017 class. When you kind of signed on the dotted line on signing day, what do you kind of remember thinking about that 2017 class that you were signing with as a whole at that point in time?
When I signed, I really didn't see, I didn't really think we had I really didn't envision the big class that we have, but just like I say, after winning that national championship my freshman year, I was like, wow, man, you got Judy, Tua, Smitty, all those guys, and man, we did have a big class, so I'm just proud to say that I'm a part of that.
Dennis Freeman with the next question.
Can you tell me how important is it for you guys to match Notre Dame's physicality on the front line?
It's very important because the game starts up front with the D-line, and we got to be aggressive. We got to be tough, physical, dominant. We got to match their intensity up front and just give the defense a spark. Also, the whole team. So it starts up front with us and just matching their intensity. Those guys are very good. They run the ball pretty well. Got a good quarterback, and we got to get after them.
Charlie Potter, go ahead.
Hey, Fedarian, just want to ask you about Will Anderson and how you've seen him progress over the course of this season and really the way that he's played these last few games, racking up a bunch of sacks.
Will's been great for us, man. He stepped up and he accepted the challenge as a young guy pretty early. I'm proud to see how far he's became. We knew when he came in, he was going to be something special. And I'm just proud to say that he's shown everybody that he's old enough to be mature and he can roll with the big dogs now. So I'm happy to see him work.
Austin Hugh, go ahead.
Hi, yeah, just wanted to ask kind of follow up about the Notre Dame offensive line. What do you see from them on tape that makes them so good? Obviously, a lot of their players have won awards from the ACC and the AP and stuff like that. What about them specifically stands out?
They're physical, and they physical up front. There's nothing too bad I can say about those guys. We just got to come out and do what we do best and play physical.
Over to Michael Casagrande. Michael, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Sorry. Looking back now, you have the time to look back on that Ole Miss game. How much did that mean to the season, and how much did it change the way this defense played and the way it looked at things?
I feel like the Ole Miss game, it really gave us a spark. we didn't play as well as we wanted to play. And we just took that game for motivation to get us where we at now. And we try not to think about that, that's in the past, but it is what it is, and we just got to keep rolling.
Steve Moulton, over to you.
Dylan Moses in particular, I'm wondering how big of a leader he is on defense and really what he has contributed this year in particular.
Dylan Moses is a great leader for the defense, and he does a lot to get us going on the defense as a all, and we just need him to keep leading us throughout the season, this 2-game season. Him just stepping up and giving it all he got.
And we'll finish up with AP Stedham.
Hey, good afternoon, Fedarian. Fedarian, did you get a chance to watch the Notre Dame offensive line in the first Clemson game and then evaluate the second Clemson game? And what did you see happen between those 2 games? And then also, what makes Najee Harris so difficult to tackle?
Well, first of all, I think Najee, he runs really hard. He runs low. He got great balance. Man, he's a tough guy to tackle. And that's it. So.
Thank you, Phil. We'll be bringing up our next player shortly. Yep, you're good to head on up. We're back with Christian Harris. Same as before, go and use the raise hand function and we will get started. First question to Ralph Russo.
Hey, Christian. Wonder if there's anything in particular that you missed about a season in restrictions with COVID and protocols and that. Was there just something personal that you sort of missed this year?
I say personally for me, just having the fans out there, it is a really different experience. Not having fans out there, not being as loud, not having much of an impact on the game. But I think that'd be really the only thing. There's not too much different that we do here. Besides, like I said, just being in the games, just not having as many fans.
John Zener with the second question.
Yeah, Christian, there's so much hype around the offenses going in these, the quarterbacks, the running backs, the skill players. As a defense, how motivated are you guys to say kind of not on the podium, but on the field, hey, remember us, how we play defense here too, to make a statement as a defense once you get to the game?
Every single game we go out, we try to make a statement, as a defense in all areas of our game. So, we can't, like I said, we can't really have the fans out there to hype us up and stuff, but, we're all excited to play the game of football. We use it as another opportunity to go out, like I say always, and show the world what we can do. And like I said, we just go out there and try to take advantage of that.
Steve Moulton, you're up.
First of all, I'd love to know how you're doing health-wise, and second, who do you think is going to win the Heisman?
Well, health-wise, I'm feeling great. And as far as the Heisman, I don't really know. I know they got some really great athletes up there up for it. So I think they'll choose whoever they think is the best. I'm just focused on this game this week, though.
Aaron Suttles with the next question.
21 of the team's 32 sacks have come in the last 4 games. Have you noticed anything in those 4 games? If a guy's been healthier, is it just Will Anderson and yourself coming to your own? What do you think's been the difference in the sack production?
I think, just us going out there executing whatever our game plan is that coach gives us. I think it kind of, helps us go out there and be more successful. We really had to focus in on that, week by week throughout this week, most definitely. And, I think it's just starting to show out there, with the amount of players that we have getting sacks and making plays. I think it's just all coming from execution.
Do we have any other questions for Christian at this time? Michael Casagrande, go ahead.
Yeah, just wondering exactly what happened to you on that injury, that play that you got injured, and what was the injury, and how did you get back from that?
I just, it's like regular football. You just hit somebody, you tweak your shoulder a little bit. But, I'm all fine now. There's nothing ever been really an injury that kept me off the field. So, I'm all healthy now.
AP Stedham with the next question.
Hey, good afternoon, Christian. Christian, the Ole Miss tight end had a pretty good night. What did you learn from that experience moving forward? And of course, you played against Kyle Pitts at Florida, and Notre Dame, they have a couple of good tight ends as well.
Throughout the teams that we've played so far, there are a lot of great tight ends, and offenses utilize them really well in their scheme. And I think, with that Ole Miss game, it was just a lack of execution on my part, and as well as, just a defense as a whole. And I think that's something we try to focus on throughout the rest of the remainder of the season.
That's all the questions we have for Christian. We will be bringing up Dylan Moses next. Thank you, Christian. Here with Dylan Moses, Rhea Turner will have the first question.
Hi, Dylan. How do you feel about going up against Kyron Williams?
I feel, really good. Like I said, I looked over, their entire, offense. They have a really, explosive and, strong offense just as far as, how, good they run the ball and, how efficient, the quarterback, distributes the ball throughout the, to their receivers. So, I'm really up for the challenge.
Jeff Spiegel with the next question.
Yeah, Dylan, is deciding to come back, and is this the big payoff playing in games like this?
Oh, yeah. This is something, I really look forward to. This is something, throughout the entire year, from beginning to end, that's something that, our guys, really talked about. And that was our main goal, is just getting to this point. And that was a driving force for me coming back.
Holly Rowe, floor is yours.
Hey, Dylan, I'm just curious what is required of you from a communication standpoint on each play. What are you looking for? How are you communicating to the rest of your team?
The main job for me is just, get the plays, to, the rest of the defense, looking at Coach Goldman and, just distributing the plays throughout the, from one side of the field to the other. And that's really pretty much my job. But the main thing I'm looking for is just, to set up the defensive lineman. And then Christian pretty much communicates with the defensive backs, to set up, give them the plays.
Ralph Russo, go ahead.
Hey, Dylan. In this strange year with all the protocols and restrictions, what was life like away from football practice and football facility? Did you have much of a life away from everything football related?
During quarantine, or like when we didn't know?
Well, even during the season, when you guys you're trying to just get through a season with all the testing, but again, distancing and not having classes in person, things like that.
It was really stressful, but the main thing was just, trying, keep a level mind and, do the things that, we need to do in order to succeed. Like I said, just with the testing and all of that, like I said, it could weigh on you, having to do that every day and, having to, persevere through all those challenges. But like I said, for the most part, our team has handled it well. And like I said, you're just ready for our next great challenge.
Aaron Suttles, over to you.
Dylan, when you look back on your 2017 recruiting class, you got Mac and Tua, you got the Rideouts, you got yourself, Jedrick, Alex, Xavier. There's so many talented guys that are playing in the NFL now and that will be playing in the NFL. Like when that class was coming together, did you have any sense of how special it could be?
Oh yeah, of course. That was the one of the main reasons that I committed to Alabama. I wanted to be a part of a great team and be surrounded by great competition. And that was something that I looked at before I committed, and I knew that us all coming together would be something that would be beneficial later on down the road.
Austin Hugh, go ahead.
Dylan, there's been a lot of questions today about the tight ends you guys have played in the past and the tight ends that Notre Dame has right now. What about the current Notre Dame group of tight ends stands out to you when you watch them on tape?
They're really versatile. They could stay in the core and block, or they could be flexed out and play as a receiver and catch the ball. So I feel like with that we really have to be on our P's and Q's and make sure that we're disciplining in our pass drops and we're making sure that we're doing everything we can to put everything on wraps. But it's going to be very tough. They're a really experienced group, and like I said, we expect the most from them.
Unless there are any others, we'll finish up with Steve Moulton.
Dylan, I hope you could speak to the Notre Dame offense. Overall, just give me a scouting report of what you have seen out of the Notre Dame offense studying film.
Watching them, they have a really strong running attack. And like I said, just, throughout watching their film, like their offensive line is really aggressive. And their running back, he's really quick and he picks his holes pretty well. And their quarterback, he keeps his eyes down the field. No matter what's going on in front of him, he always tries to extend plays. And for us, we have to stay on all the receivers or the guys that we're covering in order, to keep him, contained and also put pressure on him as well. Like I said, with this guy, he's very versatile with his legs and his arm as far as the quarterback go. And like I said, they just have like a lot of weapons. So for us, like I said, we just have to be really disciplined and make sure we stay in our gaps, keep the quarterback contained, and just be disciplined overall.
Thank you, Dylan. We'll keep things rolling with our next player, DJ Dale. Here with DJ Dale, and Ralph Russo will get things started.
Hey, DJ. So Dylan had just mentioned about, how living through this sort of COVID season with all the restrictions and the protocols got a little stressful. Did you find this to be stressful, especially maybe the testing part? Did you find yourself thinking like, all right, is this the day? Like, are we clean today?
Yeah, it was stressful at times. But everyone knew like this was some of the things that we had to do in order to have a successful season. But at times, Jack, it's like you didn't want to get up and do it, having to get up at 7 in the morning, come get tested, and over again, you could kind of get frustrated. But we all bought in because we knew this was what we had to do.
John Zener with the second question.
Yeah, DJ, how much motivation does this defense have after the Florida game? Florida getting some big numbers, but also it seems like several of the defenses in these playoffs get overlooked because the offenses are so good. So how motivated are you guys to kind of make that stand yourself?
We're very motivated. From what we put on film last week, we're not, feeling great about it. So this week, everybody's kind of locked in and focusing on the little things and what we had to do better. But yeah, that's about it.
Aaron Suttles, over to you.
DJ, what's been the difference in the pass rush the last 3 or 4 games? I mean, I know sometimes the difference in a sack. Nick Saban talks about affecting the quarterback. He didn't talk about sacks as much, but you guys have gotten a lot of sacks the last 4 games. Is that just the result of the maturation of the players, the development of the players?
For the most part, it's just the executing the calls that coach puts us in, and everybody rushing together and doing their job, and we're getting the results we want.
Michael Casagrande, go ahead.
It's just given that chance a few weeks and months to look back on what happened against Ole Miss. How much was that a turning point in the season, and what did you learn in that moment, and how did that apply itself the rest of the year?
We learned that whole week that we wasn't focused, we wasn't locked in, and we didn't have a great week of practice. So that played a big role in what happened during that game. So from that point, we focused and locked in at practice, and everyone just came together, and we didn't want to repeat that in any other game.
Any other questions for DJ? All right, thank you, DJ. We'll be bringing up our final player. They won't see. I like your pants, very festive. You have a good Christmas?
Yeah. You know, I gotta look cute on him.
We have Jordan Battle, our final player for today. We are ready to open up for questions. Charlie Potter, go ahead.
Hey, Jordan, just want to ask you about Will Anderson, how you've seen him kind of progress over the course of the year, and how much of an impact has he made these last couple games for you guys?
Will Anderson has been a great player for us this year. We see every game he's been getting better. He's getting rushes on the quarterback, getting sacks, and getting quarterback hurries and pressures, and that's helping us in the back end. So yeah, he's doing a great job for us this year, and we love him.
Ralph Russo, go ahead.
Hey, Jordan, you're looking good, by the way. Don't worry about it. Hey, so after a game in normal times, you're maybe hanging out with your family, hanging out with your friends, celebrating a little bit. In COVID times and with all of the restrictions, what were those like, hey, like afternoon game, we won, now what? Now what do you go do?
There's not really much you can do. I mean, you know, you have to, you know, stay social distance. We got to stay far from people we don't know. My parents are good. You know, I come home, I protect myself. I wear a mask. My brother wears his mask, and yeah, it's kind of hard, but you know, we have to do what we have to do for safety protocols.
Steve Moulton with the next question.
Jordan, there were certainly, at least heading into the year, a lot of questions about the secondary, and I was hoping you could speak to the growth of the secondary and Malachi Moore in particular. Overall, how you think you guys have played this year?
Overall, I think we played great. We made a great progression from, you know, the early games, starting with Ole Miss. From there, we went kind of, you know, we got progressively better each game, each week. And we've been just focusing and practicing and, you know, being vocal out there, communicating, you know, and that's working. That's helping everybody. Malachi Moore, you know, we all know he's a great player. Should have been freshman of the year, but hey, we like him. We love him. He's making great progression this year, and he's becoming a leader at an early age.
Michael Casagrande, you're up.
Yeah, when you look at Notre Dame, do you see any similarities from any teams you guys have played this season to this point?
Nah, I don't really see any comparisons. Notre Dame is different. They use three great tight ends in their offense, 24, 87, and 89. They all play a significant role in their offense. Their quarterback, very mobile. Running back, very mobile. 2 running backs. Their receivers are great on the outside. And, you know, this team is probably going to be a hard matchup for us. One of the hardest matchups of the year, of course, because, you know, it is a semifinal. And this team is different from all the other teams we played.
We will wrap things up with AP Stedham unless there are any other questions.
Hey, good afternoon, Jordan. Jordan, a lot has been said today about the Notre Dame quarterback and his eyes. What have you seen on film that makes him dangerous?
When he scrambles, his eyes are always downfield. He's not focused on, you know, just getting out of the pocket and scrambling for yards. He keeps his eyes downfield when he scrambles and gets out of the pocket, and you know, receivers run routes to get open at that point, and that's what makes it hard for them to cover. And they certainly have a lot of yards off catches, off scrambles. So we have to just, you know, tune in on, you know, staying locked on in the receivers on the scramble game, and we should be fine.
Thank you, Jordan. That wraps up today's press conference. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Have a good rest of your afternoon.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Just as a reminder, you can find these transcripts on collegepressbox.com or via the CFP Media portal. Additionally, high-res video will be placed on that CFP Media portal